Well, is there anything we haven't talked about today that you're pretty fired up about or that you want to add that we didn't get to cover?
I think everybody should make sure that you're taking advantage of the tax code. I don't want to talk politics, but if you're a business owner, I really think you should work with tax strategists on things in the one big beautiful bill. It basically extended some of the tax cuts from the Tax Jobs Act or the Trump tax bill. Those things were extended. And I'm really excited about the opportunity zone starting 2027. And I hope people in my community, the Black community, that we take advantage of the opportunity zone because a lot of those things are in our neighborhoods and there's no reason why we can't pull money and own our neighborhood. It was actually designed for minorities to take ownership of their neighborhoods. So I know people complain about elite, but what fires me up about the tax code, there is nothing in text that says you, Andrew, a Caucasian man, you happen to speak Spanish, by the way. You're fluent. I want to let people know I do know that about you. It doesn't say you, Andrew, if you write off your car, you get 100%, but me, Eric, being Black or African-American or whatever I'm called, I'm actually Afro-Latino. A lot of people don't know that about me. You only get 90%. Yeah, 90% deduction. So it doesn't discriminate. It only discriminates if you don't know. That's where the discrimination happens.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. We'd also like to thank Data Driven Decisions, founded by Katy Forster, for sponsoring today's show. Data Driven Decisions specializes in accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory services tailored specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want financial clarity and peace of mind. From KPI reporting to fractional CFO support and QuickBooks training, Katy's team brings big firm expertise with a personal touch. Visit them at datadriven.coach to see how smart financial support can make all the difference in your business growth. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Eric Pierre of Pierre Tax and Accounting. Eric is a good friend of mine from Rise Up Kings. He is also my go-to when anybody needs a tax planner, a tax strategist. He is an amazing human being. He has taken great care of all of my friends that I've sent his way. And it's a timely conversation, Eric, because guess what's right around the corner is tax season. So this is probably, hopefully, timely for a lot of business owners right now. Yeah. Man, like drop some knowledge on me. What are some ways that wealthy people save on taxes?
Well, there's basically, so we're going to start with the big picture. Okay. There's two ways that wealthy people save on tax. Okay. One is tax mitigation. And tax mitigation is basically, like, I'll give you an example, right? Let me give you non-tax examples so you understand. Most of us, I think, shop at Amazon to some extent, right? So, I shop at Amazon. I'm sure you do. A lot of people do. If I were to tell you, Andrew, hey, for $50, if you pay me $50, I will give you $250 gift card for you to shop at Amazon, but a minimum of $50 to get a 5-to-1. You would do that transaction, right?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So in tax mitigation, there are strategies where you can basically buy down your debt like that, right? Usually that involves some sort of charitable strategy where there are funds and or organizations where for every $1 you can get, let's say, 2, 3, 4, or 5 up to half of your taxable income, right? And so that's called mitigation. You're buying down your tax debt. Kind of like how when you buy a house, you buy, you can buy points to lower your interest rate, which lowers your mortgage. So you can do that. And with that, it can, for some types of income, particularly if you're primarily W-2, that's gonna be the best way. to do that. And so usually those kind of strategies make sense if you make about $400,000 to $500,000 and up of income, particularly W-2, because the tax law doesn't really allow for a lot of strategies on the W-2 side, right? So, but we help W-2 earners. Like I have a client that makes a couple million. He's a healthcare executive. We do charitable strategy, cut his income in half. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Then there's also tax deferral, right? Now, there's many ways to tax deferral. Some people already do. For instance, when you do real estate, if you invest in commercial real estate, you qualify as a qualified real estate professional, or you do the short-term rental. A lot of people do, the cost segregation, or what industry bonus depreciation, right? Andrew, let's say you do let's say you're a qualified real estate professional. You have $500,000 of income. You buy a commercial property, and let's say, for the sake of this example, it's $3 million. Typically, in year one, with bonus depreciation, you get 100% for the next 5 years. So on a cost seg, you might be able to get 15-20% in year one. So let's say you get $600,000 depreciation deduction. Your taxable bill is wiped out. The catch is with the deferral is that if you don't do 1031, you sell that property. If you don't do any planning, the IRS does do a recapture. And also, depending on the state where you own that property, they may also do recapture. So that's an example of defer, right? Unless you do 1031, you would roll your capital gains and you're kicking it down the can. Or, for instance, 2027, January 1, 2027, the opportunity zones reopen for the next 10 years. We can roll capital gain, invest in that property in a qualified OZ zone. You hold it for 10 years or more. And then that gain is, obviously there's more to it, but then you can get that tax-free.
I'm understanding about 50% of this, and all I can think about is I'm really glad that Eric is my CPA. So how do I know, Eric? I know a lot of business owners, I talk to them, and having been a financial advisor, I know the difference between a tax planner and a tax strategist or a tax preparer. How do I know if I'm working right now, if my guy's a tax strategist or just a tax preparer?
Okay, that's a great question. So a tax preparer is somebody that just, they do to your tax form and they tell you what your tax bill is end of the year. And that's most tax professionals, CPAs, enrolled agents, whatnot. And the reason that tends to be is most tax professionals spend too much time on the compliance side. And for some reason, their organizations are not robust enough, or they don't delegate enough work to free up the capacity to do proactive planning. A tax strategist is somebody that's proactive, right? You don't wait until, so this is now 2026. There's very few tax strategies you can do to go back and save it 2025. Now you can invest in 401k, certain pension to get that deduction, but the real juicy stuff, or maybe cost segregation, you can't do if you have a property in service before December 31, 2025. You can do the cost seg study now and apply it to your 2025 tax. So there's a very small window, but tax strategists, they work with you all throughout the year, right? And they're proactive, and they help you with, structure, timing, and then by the end of the year, a good tax strategist, you will implement strategies to where if you make $2 million income, right? If you live in California, if you don't do any planning, your tax bill is about $1 million between federal and state. But a strategist, whether it's myself, I'm not the only tax strategist out there, but a good strategist, we can take that down from $1 million to $500,000 or $200,000 or even zero, depending on what you do.
So what I'm hearing you say is, if I only hear from my CPA as tax season approaches, then I probably have a tax preparer, right? Whereas if my CPA keeps in constant contact with me and is helping me employ strategies for the upcoming tax year, then I probably have a tax planner.
That's right.
I like
you said
that.
it better than me. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to me, and this isn't a commentary or making fun of anybody, but it's interesting to me how many people I talk to, and I say, "Well, how's your tax guy?" And they're like, "Oh, he's terrible." And I'm like, "Well, why are you still with him? Well, what is it about this industry where it seems like the bar is pretty low?" Yeah,
Man, how do I answer this without getting in trouble?
I felt guilty asking the
Because
question, but
I don't
it's
want to.
really true. It's really
I
true.
don't want to be. I don't want to be a troll, but this data has been given by I think like the California State Board. So my understanding statistics from groups like the California Board of Accountancy, 70% of people are not happy with their tax professional or CPA. Most people are afraid of change. The CPA, the financial advisor, those are two of the most intimate relationships you can have besides your spouse. And in fact, I think CPAs, financial advisors, people trust them more than their pastors and maybe at times more than their spouse. And so people are afraid of change. And also, Andrew, part of the reason they're afraid of change, particularly a bigger income, is that you have to admit you were wrong. And most people, as you know, and you can read in the scripture, don't want to admit they're wrong.
Yeah,
Don't want to admit they've been making mistakes.
yeah,
Nobody likes to look in the mirror and be like, man, I made a mistake. It's easy to gripe, but how many people are actually willing to fix the problem? I mean, think about like obesity. How many people are obese and complain about the weight, but how many people actually do something about it?
right.
So
Yeah, there's not many of us can drop 140 pounds or whatever over what has it been, 8 months for you? You're looking good, dude.
thanks. I did not drop 140 pounds in 8 months. I wish I could, but I listen, I remember I gained a bunch of weight at age 40. I did not do blood work, did not realize that my testosterone dropped and that my body, I can't eat the way I used to. And I wasn't always eating bad food, but I can't eat as many carbs. I was younger, I was more, active running, playing a lot of basketball. But now I do lifting. I need to eat more high fats and less carbs. So get your blood work done, go see your doctor. You can prevent a lot of stuff just by doing blood work.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by Von Finch Investments. If you're a business owner or investor looking to grow your wealth beyond the stock market, you need to check out Von Finch Investments. They give you access to institutional quality real estate and private credit deals without the headaches of managing properties yourself. Their model is built around alignment. They invest alongside you, and they only win when you win. If you want passive income, tax efficiency, and real asset exposure, Von Finch is worth a serious look. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. A couple more questions. What any sort of recent changes? I know there's been a lot of tax code and tax changes recently.
Yeah.
Any good news for business owners? Any good ones that we should be aware of that actually will make our lives easier?
Yeah. So one, in the one big beautiful bill, you can actually get 100% bonus depreciation on vehicles starting in early 2025. Now, so you're probably thinking, well, Eric, I've been using a vehicle and I bought it a couple years ago. Can I still add to my business? The answer is yes. So for the full bonus depreciation, a car has to be new to you. It doesn't necessarily be brand new. So if you have a car that you qualify for the business usage, and if the gross vehicle weight rating is over 6,000 pounds, you could theoretically put on your 2025 business return. You'd have to now you better know what the mileage was and use something like Kelly Blue Books on the appraised value, and that's what you can depreciate. So, or you can do it this year as well and put it in 2026, start anew. So, that's one thing you can do. And then bonus depreciation has been restored for commercial property. If you had a commercial property for a while, you've never done cost segregation, you can do a study and put that on your 2025 return. Because, there are a lot of business owners who actually own a commercial building that their business in and they rent out other people, particularly places like Austin. We see a lot of the mixed use development. I'm sure where you live in Denver, like in downtown, some of the high end places, there's a lot of those small mixed use places and some people live there and then you can do that. So, those are things you can do and that 100% is back. So you can still do some things to make a big difference so that you don't have to give your money Uncle Sam. So I just want to show you something real quick. This right here is a Bible, right? So now this happens to be Amplified Bible, but do you know that the tax code has more words than the King James Bible?
Wow.
And the reason is that for business owners, they give you so many words that the tax code is actually meant for business owners to benefit and save on tax so that you can then use the savings to expand your business. And then you hire people and they tax your workers. That's why W-2 workers don't get a whole lot of tax breaks, but business owners do.
I like that. It's like they're giving you the map that you basically just need to get that thing out and figure out how to take, what are the loopholes and the things that you can take advantage of. I like that.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And by the way, most tax breaks are not loopholes because a loophole means that it's ambiguous. A lot of high-end strategies are actually codified.
Okay. Yeah. That's an interesting, okay. Interesting distinction. Every time I talk to you, man, it feels like you're going to, some sort of a sports game or hanging out with celebrities. So, tell us about any interesting things that you've done recently, any social outings, any speaking engagements. I know you're always up to something cool.
All right. So this quarter, oh, wow. How do I say this without name drop? Well, I can name drop a couple names. I have to think about what I can and can't name drop. Okay. So, as you know, I'm a season ticket holder for the Houston Rockets. In the beginning of the year, I was at the game where Kevin Durant made that game-winning jump shot. During that game, Jalen Green's girlfriend, Drea Michelle, said hi to me. Now, you're probably wondering, do I know her personally? No, I don't. But her boyfriend is Jalen Green, who used to play for the Rockets. A year ago, she sat in front of me. I sat underneath the basket in the second row, and I've been spotted on Peacock, ESPN. I've had people calling me and say, hey, I saw you on the broadcast, right? So she walks up to me and says, you're still sitting here talking your blankety blank. I said, I never talk bad about your man. And so she was pretty cool. She took pictures of me. We posted social media so I can name drop because I did take a picture with her. I did speak at a sports summit in LA, Atlas Sports Summit. I met Rashad Jennings. I've met some NFL people in the past. Recently I was in Charlotte, your stomping grounds. You went to Davidson.
That's right.
You know who was in front of me acting a fool was the rapper DaBaby. I didn't know who he was. So the Hornets were like destroying the Miami Heat, and sitting next to me was Asia Wilson's older brother, and he was there to see Bam, but Bam didn't play that night. Bam was injured. And so DaBaby was sitting in front. He grabbed a Alonzo Mourning Heat jersey, took his, fancy belt, all these diamond studs, whatever, and whipped the jersey. And and he let us record him. It was pretty funny, and it's on my social media. So I got to talk to him for a minute, and I do have a client that is on an NBA coaching staff. That's why I was at that game. So
cool.
You tend to see me at some of these things because of business relationships. I don't ask for tickets. I pay for a ticket, but I always like to meet my clients where they're at. So I'll just say that.
Eric, what if I'm a business owner listening to this and I'm like, man, I think I want to potentially work with this guy. I've been with my person for a long time. How can what's the best way to reach out to you and start the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the easiest way, if you go to our website, pierreaccounting.com and fill out the intake form, You can do that, or you can call our office line, 512-900-8293. That's our general office line, and we can get you that way. But I don't, honestly, if you go through the website, you can say exactly what it is you're looking for, and then we get back to you pretty quickly that way.
I love that. Well, is there anything we haven't talked about today that you're pretty fired up about or that you want to add that we didn't get to cover?
No, I think everybody should make sure that you're taking advantage of the tax code. That fires me up. I'm fired. I mean, I don't want to talk politics, but if you're a business owner, I really think you should work with tax strategists on things in the one big beautiful bill. It basically extended some of the tax cuts in from the Tax Jobs Act or the Trump tax bill. Those things were extended. And I'm really excited about the opportunity zone starting 2027. And, you know, I hope, man, I'm going to say this. I hope people in my community, the Black community, that we take advantage of the opportunity zone, because a lot of those things are in our neighborhoods, and there's no reason why we can't pull money and own our neighborhood. It was actually designed for minorities to take ownership of their neighborhoods. So I know people complain about elite, but what fires me up about the tax code, there is nothing in Texas that says, you, Andrew, a Caucasian man, you happen to speak Spanish, by the way. You're fluent. I want to let people know I do know that about you. It doesn't say, you, Andrew, if you write off your car, you get 100%, but me, Eric, being Black or African-American or whatever I'm called, I'm actually Afro-Latino. A lot of people don't know that about me. You only get 90%. Yeah, 90% deduction. So it doesn't discriminate. It only discriminates if you don't know. That's where the discrimination happens.
Yeah. Well, man, I love working with you. I love sending people your way, and we have personally engaged with you now with our companies, and I cannot say enough of good things about working with Eric. And so, guys, if you are listening to this show and you're like, man, my tax guy is just okay, or I'm not getting planning and strategy, look, don't make it emotional. It's a business decision. There's no reason to give Uncle Sam more than you should. And so that is one of the best people you need to have in your corner is an amazing tax strategist, and Eric is the best. So definitely reach out to him. Eric, thanks as always for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.